Hey there, Citizen Paller here, and welcome back. We got part one of what's probably going to be two videos on the Anvil Valkyrie. This one here, we're just going to do a quick walk around. It's going to take about 10 minutes to go over everything that the ship has. Then I'll come back in another video because there's about another 10 minutes to talk about some of the concerns people have about this ship, where I think this fits in terms of roles, and then viability. But we'll split this up into two different videos. So there she is, the Anvil Valkyrie. She looks a lot like the dropship from Aliens, in my opinion. She's definitely very beefy, bulky looking ship. She's kind of got like a turtle. The Terrapin has a similar look to this, which is the Terrapin Anvil? I think it is. So the Anvil ships, obviously you have like the Super Hornet, this guy, the Terrapin. Hopefully the Terrapin is a Anvil ship. I probably should have looked that up before I went ahead and said that. But there she is. I think she looks like a VTOL version of the dropship from Aliens, which I really like. I also like that rusted paint scheme that came with getting her in the first week or whatever after the reveal. There was a limited buy window for that livery skin on her. Come on down here. What we're looking at right here is, so this ship, one of the big features of her is 10 miniguns. It's almost like if you used to play Mech Warrior, when you would just take a random mech, something like an Atlas, and just put as many machine guns on it as you could. That's kind of like how this guy feels stock. So up top there, you do see there's a turret in the dead center. That is there's a top turret and a bottom turret. Those two turrets each carry two Class 3 miniguns. So you have 4 Class 3 miniguns in total. You then have 4, don't die, don't die, don't die, get up, get up. Yay, ground textures. You then have 4 Class 2 miniguns. So underneath the nose here, these are pilot controlled. So this is gimbaled, 2 Class 2 miniguns. There are 2 additional Class 2 miniguns, one on each of the sort of wings. Probably should have gone to the other side where it's a little bit brighter. The sun in this level isn't the greatest. Kind of gives a lot of glare. There we go. We can see one on this wing, one on the other wing. And then internally deployable are 2 Class 1s. This was one of the big things they showed off. It kind of works similar to a Huey helicopter. What you'd expect, whatever. You can definitely see playing some heavy rock music as you come in on this thing. Flight of the Valkyries. In fact, the name really fits. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together there until just then. Playing Flight of the Valkyries as you're flying in on your Valkyrie with door gunners would be pretty darn entertaining over VoIP or something. Here are the VTOL thrusters, so your VTOLs. The VTOLs do need to deploy down when the landing gear is down. This is going to be one of maybe the ways they could definitely balance this ship. In order to safely land and deploy troops that they're not going to break their legs jumping out of the back of this thing, you need to deploy landing gear, which means turning your VTOLs down, which means someone could, in theory, the VTOLs should be easily destroyed, well, more easily destroyed, easier destroyed than the ship as a whole. So if you take out one of these VTOLs, this thing's going to be tough to land. If you take out both VTOLs on one side, the thing's going to be darn near impossible to land, which could be interesting. In the back here, then, we do have a large landing bay or loading bay, so we'll open that up. Right now this guy's a little finicky. You have to get right underneath him in order to open and close him, but a very large ramp allowing for fast troop exit. But the big selling point of this guy is actually the large area back here where you can store an Ursa rover. You can easily get a Tumbril Cyclone in here. I think if you get a little tricky, you could probably get 2 Tumbril Cyclones in here. One in the back, one in the front. I think it's deep enough that you can technically get 2 Tumbril Cyclones in here. Or upwards of 10, give or take, Drake Dragonflies or Apanoxes in this area. And this is kind of going to be the big X factor. We'll talk about this a lot more in the second video, but the other dropships that we currently know about do not have the ability to deploy ground vehicles like this. The Hoplite definitely doesn't. Perhaps the Retaliator, when you change out the module for the torpedoes for the transport area for the troops, maybe, but it seems unlikely that that's going to happen. The Redeemer definitely doesn't. The Prowler, I think it's called, which is the alien like deploy ship from the sides, definitely doesn't. So this is sort of the big. Do you want to be able to take vehicles with your troops into combat? Well, the Valkyrie's the one to do that with. On the side here, here's what we're talking about. It's easier to do this door over here. So we can go ahead and open this door up. At which point we then have the size 1 minigun. There's one on the other side. Everything is mirrored. In order to get into it, behind here is that. Okay, so we have the minigun. Down here is, I left the power on. So we do have a ballistics minigun right there. Go ahead and power off. To get out of it is a little odd up there. Something neat that happens when you open up these side doors, there's a little step pad down here that drops off. So if we close this door, close door, you'll see there's like a little landing pad. Well, they've tied this in with the parkour system already. So if we open that up, we can then hop up onto there and then hop up onto there and climb into the ship that way. Which works real handy right now because closing this back door is a pain in the butt. If we come back here, and this is just a small, I'm sure this will be fixed. There's no way to interact with it. There's no interaction here. If we come around to the side here, oh, I hadn't actually managed. There we go. We can get that to close. It's a little finicky to close that back door. It's right now. It's just the sense system seems to be a little broken. I'm sure they will fix that. No, I didn't want to close it. I wanted to climb on it. Why did I have F down? Oh well. Climb back up here. Climb up here again. I like that. So there's that. Another really nice little aesthetic piece right here is a little, it looks like a backblast plate. This would be something you would see on carriers for like jets taking off and everything. I don't think that's actually what this is for, unless they're going to be doing something with the thrust of the game. And maybe they will in the future, you know, maybe if you have like a few dragonflies here, or what is like the small, like the X-85, I forget whatever one of the little small fighters is, maybe get it in here. This is to protect people back here from getting hit with backblast. I don't think that's what it is though. I think this is for if you're trying to emergency load a cyclone. So somebody's trying to evac out of an area or whatever, you come in, you land down in front of them, they come flying up here with the cyclone at speed. You don't want them just running up into the ladder or whatever, killing anybody while moving around in here. So you raise this up and this works as an emergency stop for a cyclone loading in or an Ursa rover or whatever. I think that's what that's for. It keeps them from running into this area here, right? So like hitting their roof on this and ripping that off, or killing somebody up on the top of that, tearing the top turret off of the Ursa rover. That's what I believe that is for in general. If it's for backblast, neat aesthetic. I don't know how realistic it is to be using it in there. Generally just don't stand behind a ship taking off. Then you have on either side here, these doors are normally closed. This is multiple recordings now, but normally these are closed. You do have bulkheads leading up into your troop transport area. So this is mirrored on either side. You got 10 rumble seats in each group, 5-5, 5-5. These seats do work. You can open them up and then we can sit down in it. Unfortunately, once you sit down in it right now, there doesn't seem to be a way to close that. So I'm trying to look up there and close it. I cannot get it to close, but probably just isn't implemented yet. That's fine. We can go ahead and close it down there. So you got that. Up here under the front then you have the bottom turret. This turret does have, well, both turrets have limited visibility in opposite directions. This one is limited looking up because you're so close. Now when you are on the ground, you're basically limited all the way around. As you might have noticed when we were outside, the front turret sits really low to the ground. The ground's like right there, to the point where our guns are actually going inside the ground as we move around. So we are very low to the ground, but yeah. Let's see. Just trying to find the ammo counters on this. There we go. Weapons. Guns. Doesn't actually show. Come on. Usage. Show me how many guns. There's too many weapons menus. These are all the same ones. I'm guessing it's all, yeah. That needs to be retweaked a little bit. Placeholder power, yeah. I don't know how much ammo we have. The main gun system for the pilots is 8,000 rounds. So for now, I'm assuming it's 8,000 rounds for these guys also. Where's the exit? Exit. There we go. Go ahead and get back up out of there. Back over here through this area, and then that's the bottom. That is the troop area essentially, and then obviously the front turret is not part of the troop area. Up the ladder here is going to take us up into the crew area and to the flight deck side of things. Not really a flight deck, cockpit, I guess. Yep, top here. You will notice that the ground textures are a little weird. I think what's going on here is two things. We're supposed to be in a slightly damaged state If we look in here in the bathroom, there's kind of like a weird smoke effect coming out of there. Bathroom door could be closed. Up here, there's like a smoke effect coming out there. There's also a smoke effect right there. So I think we're supposed to be partially damaged, but I also think this is some of the early textures of like the dirt, the wear and tear, the grime of the ship that hasn't been cleaned in a while. That's why that's down there. It doesn't look very good. I'm not too concerned about it, though. I'm guessing it's just an early implementation of that. Anyway, up here's the main crew area. So you have 5 bunks in total. You have a single one here. This is probably the pilot's. It's got like an extra little display readout or whatever. And then you have 4 more bunks for the primary crew. So the crew has basically, you have 1 crew for the top turret, 1 crew for the bottom turret, 1 crew for the left gun, 1 crew for the right gun. So there's your 4 crew members plus the pilot for the 5th. Right here in the back is the upper turret. I found the best way to get into this, guys, put your back right against that railing, and then you can interact with that turret. It's going to be a seat that drops down. Kind of reminds me of the Gladiator, I think it is, the bomber. Come on up, and you're going to see the same thing with the top turret compared to the bottom turret. Look down here. We got this. Some of the multifunction displays, it looks like there's supposed to be displays here and here. Don't seem to be working on this guy. But this one, again, where the bottom turret can't aim up, this turret can't aim down too far. At least not until you get further out. Yep, some more miniguns. Go ahead and... Oh, you can change the fire mode, which only fires the left gun. I'm not sure really how good that is, but sure, you can do that. Go ahead and exit. We already saw the bathroom, but yep, there's a private bathroom and everything. So yeah, you can have 5 people reliably logging in, logging out on this ship. You may not want to. I mean, it is a drop ship. The ship does not have any cargo capacity. So although there's this large open area, which is about the same size as a Cutlass, give or take, in terms of area, there's no cargo grid there. And we'll talk about that in the second video where I talk a little bit more about the larger impressions of the ship. Then here you have the left and right gunner seat. So these will deploy out. So we can go ahead and we can climb in here. Funny enough, in Arena Commander, these work. In the actual game, in the PTU, they don't seem to work. I don't know, but you'll see it when they drop down in here. We can go ahead and we can enter remote turret. And now we're in the remote turret. The remote turret has very limited... Oh, actually, it doesn't have nearly as limited field of view or range as I thought. Boy, that is sensitive. Gonna need to adjust the mouse sensitivity. So these are class 2s. But basically anything to the entire right-hand side. Boy, that mouse sensitivity. Yeah. So, yep, there we go. Works just like the Super Hornet remote turret. Right now I don't see of any way to get out, but you do have the hotkey of H by default to exit the seat, so we go ahead and use that. The left side's the exact same thing, just opposite. You're on the left wing rather than the right wing. Then we go ahead and we move up through here into the pilot's seat. Through the bulkhead and into a what seems to be a heavily armored cockpit. In fact, just this entire ship, the wall diameters, let's go back out and just take a quick look at this again. Probably talk about this more in the second video, but this whole ship seems like it's going to be able to take a hell of a beating. Like, look at how thick the outer walls are of this thing. Obviously, those little side doors, those are not nearly as thick. This part here that deploys in and out isn't nearly as thick. But other than this one door, this ship seems unbelievably tanky. You have this area here, which is cargo lockers, but behind this, there's not much. Like, the ship flares out here this whole way. So this is like a massive amount of ship here that could be used to protect those troops as you're coming in. This ship, in theory, should be very, very, very tanky. Obviously, there's got to be the engines, the propulsion plant, and all that is somewhere for driving that. So probably in those areas behind that you can't really see. So taking too much damage there might not be the best thing. But yeah, just speculating. This thing should be pretty damn tanky. And that's without even taking into account that it has 2 medium-sized shield generators. Go ahead and enter the pilot's seat here. Didn't close any of the doors. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. We can actually go third person for that. And here is the pilot seat. Let's go ahead and go V. Oh, hang on. F. And close exterior. There it goes. Yeah. Third person look around there. I like the design. I really do like the aesthetic, but I really like the Cutlass. Something about these square designs, even the old Cutlass before the rework, I really liked aesthetically. These type of ships, I don't know, they're very utilitarian, but they seem like they should just work. Go ahead and we're going to kick the engines on. Right now there's no sounds for some reason. I'm guessing it's just not quite ready to go yet, which by the time they get out of PTU and over to the main launch version, I'm guessing the sounds will be there. Go ahead and we'll get flying forward here. Press Z. Go ahead and we'll retract the VTOLs. There goes the landing gear. Very cool. And away we go. Whoops. I pressed N again. Oh well. Bring it back up. Come back inside. Go ahead and we'll fire some of our front guns. There is one of the complaints has been there's no downward. Well, there is actually a little bit of downward. So people have been complaining. They've looked at it that you can't see below you in order to land and unload troops safely and everything. And I do agree that that is a bit of an issue. Though there is, obviously, as we just saw there is some downward view look. I think the argument to be had here, and this is part of what I want to go into the second video, is if you look at the hammerhead, the pilot and co-pilot are extremely exposed. Anybody front of that thing looking up, if you got one of the, what's the big heavy tank called? Is it the Prowler? I forget what no, the Prowler is the dropship. Anyway, whatever the big heavy tank is, depending on how they do the damage modeling, you could put a round right into the cockpit of that thing and probably kill the pilot and co-pilot outright. They're just so exposed as long as you get through the shield. This thing here, at least you have a lot of protection around you in terms of extra ship and everything. Yeah, your vision's obstructed, but if we're going to be going in under heavy fire, this might be more ideal. I don't know. We'll need to see realistically how it comes into play and everything, but that's all for the second video we'll be coming back to. But that's your walk around of the Valkyrie. Aesthetically, I really like her. I think she's quite a good ship to look at. I love the idea of 10 miniguns and all that. Her viability, that's going to be the bigger question, and we'll talk about that in another video. Till then, though, this has been Paler. Thanks for watching.